welcome to One Nation of Sports Soccer Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars, and thank you guys for joining us tonight. Right after Thanksgiving weekend, I am sure that you are all doing really well. No food comas anymore. You've recovered. You've done your shopping. You got out there, exercise, got all that work done. Um, right. I know you guys. You're ready for some more entertainment, and that's what we've got for you tonight. We've got Kenadi Harrison on the program, and Kennedy, you're going to find out she does a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't have much time for anything, let alone being on here with us tonight. But she was gracious and came on, and so we're excited to talk with her as well as talk about her article in Sports Soccer Magazine. You can see that really cool pictures right there, and make sure that you check out her article in Sports Soccer Magazine, the November-December issue, and great article in there. If you do not have a print copy, you can go to sportssoccermagazine.com and you can look at the digital edition and read Kennedy's article on there. We've got a lot we're going to cover. As you can tell, we've got a very talented student athlete on here tonight. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Kennedy. Kennedy, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Thanks for coming on here tonight.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, did you work off all of the Thanksgiving food already? You already done with all that?
Yeah, I kind of had to. We had practice the very next day, and I was
Yeah.
definitely feeling the food.
I'm sure. I'm sure you were. It's
Yeah.
uh, that's part of it, isn't it? You gotta pick up and keep going. It's just for a brief moment. Did you have a good time with
Yeah.
family?
Yes, I love spending time with my family. That's the best.
Oh, very good, very good. So talk to us a little bit about your article, and you had shared a little bit about your connection with your teammates as something that you treasure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and why that's been so important to you?
Yeah, I think that you play with different teammates every year. They graduate, new ones come in, and I just think it's so important that you have a good connection with them because you spend, I mean, 5 months, 3 months together every day, and it affects the way you play with them too, and the way you compete. So the better connection and the more you're close with your teammates, the better everything is. Honestly, it just makes everything better and more fun.
That's I know you have teammates that you have in track and field, but that's a little bit different than in basketball. Um,
Yeah.
tell tell everybody about maybe a little bit of the difference. I mean, I know that in track and field you're a little bit more individually focused as well as the team, but talk a little bit about the difference in that.
Yeah, I honestly really enjoy the difference. Like it's such a different atmosphere, and that's what I like the difference of the sports. Like basketball, you're constantly it's a constant teammate sport. Track is more of like you're running for yourself alone, but then like whereas relays you're running with a team. But I like the individual and the team aspect. Like I think there's like good and bad to both. But yeah, the connection that I have with my teammates is like the most important thing to me. Like that's the best part. So it's different in both, but I enjoy both very much.
Yeah, you probably are whichever season it is. You probably enjoy whichever one you're in, right?
Yes, yes, totally.
And how's that been so far? I mean, it's your senior year. I mean, this is the last go around. How's that been so far?
It's honestly really good. We have a good group this year. Like we just kind of all have fun with it, and everyone's like bought in every day. Like we just have a really fun group this year. Me and the two other seniors. Like we've played together since we were young. Like since we were in like fourth grade. So we just have a lot of fun. Like this year is definitely I wouldn't say more fun, but it's definitely a special year, especially that I'm a senior. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's going to go by quick. I mean, it's going by quick already. I mean,
I know.
we just passed Thanksgiving, almost Christmas, and then first semester is going to be done, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It goes by so fast.
Well, speaking about going by fast, it just seems like it was not long ago that we did your photo shoot and interviews for the magazine. Why don't you tell us a little bit about being in Sports Locker and what did you think about that and having your story in there?
I think it's such an honor. Like my brother was in the magazine, and I don't know, I just think it's so cool to like get to like share my personal story and like the things that are important to me and like have other people be able to read that. Like I think it's just awesome. It's just like such an honor.
Yeah, I remember your brother being in there and went went and did his photo shoot. I can remember it was in the gym, and we got lots of photos with him as well. And who had bragging rights this Thanksgiving? Did you had a little bit more bragging rights this time?
Yeah, I did. I
Did you
did.
sign? Did you sign one for him? Give him an autographed copy?
No, I didn't sign it, but I did sign one for one of my teachers. He wanted me to sign his magazine, so that was kind of funny.
Very cool. Very good. Uh, you mentioned your brother. Let's talk a little bit about him. You were growing up watching him, and you watched Landon play basketball. How did that spark your love for the sport? And tell us a little bit about how you got started with all that.
I honestly just like grew up around it. Like he was such a gym rat and my dad loved it too. So I would just like tag along and go to the gym with them and shoot. And I just like learned to love it. And I just loved watching him. Like I think like every Friday night they had a home game, it feels like, and I would like run in from my like young practice and just sit there and I just like loved watching him. Like he worked so hard and like he was so motivated and I think I didn't feel forced. I just like I naturally loved it too. So like watching him just made it like so much better.
If I remember right, he had an injury about the time that we did his. He was coming off of an injury when we did his photo shoot. If I can remember that.
Yeah, probably his junior year. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So, um, talk about your
Yeah, he
relationship.
rolled his ankle quite a bit.
I understand that. I did that as well. Um, Tell us about your relationship with
Mhm.
him and what have you appreciated most about him and what are some of the things that you've picked up from him.
I think he's such a good like role model like with it when it comes to sports and when it comes to life. Like he's very like respected and a lot of people like him and look up to him. He just like cares so much about others and that's honestly more important, but the basketball aspect was a big part of it too. He's just like he's not like a normal older brother. Like he's like extra nice to me whereas most people's older brother they like pick on him a lot, but he's like constantly like looking out for me and calling me and I would say we're pretty close for having a 7-year age gap, but yeah, he's pretty special to me, I would say.
Yeah, very good. Well, you've got other siblings. Why don't you go ahead and talk about them and what they mean to you and how special they are.
Yeah. So I have a sister, Emily. She's 22 and she graduated from Mizzou. We used to not be very close because I mean her room was right next to mine, and I was constantly like wanting to hang out with her or steal her clothes, and she did not like that. So we used to not be very close, but we I would say we're closer now than we are ever than we've ever been. Like we're like best friends, and I like call her every day because she lives in Kansas City, but I think it like we have a 5-year age gap, and I think it's honestly like healthy. So yeah, we're really close. And then I have a stepsister, Bree. She's a year older than me. She goes to Mizzou, and we've grown to be really close as well. Like we're really close in the same age. So we went to high school together, and I would say like we've definitely grown closer over the years as well. But yeah, I love all my siblings. So
That's good. And they can
yeah,
pull this up anytime and they can hear you say that. They can say, look, you said this about me, back when you did your interview. And they'll remind you of that, those nice things you
yeah,
said about them. Speaking about nice things that people say,
yeah.
I'm going to encourage people, feel free to jump in while we're doing the interview. If you have any comments or any questions that you might have for Kennedy, feel free to do that, and we'll be happy to bring you on there with that. Okay, so now we're going to get to the nitty gritty. You talked about your mom and dad in the article and how they impacted your life and their guidance and support for you. Talk to us a little bit about that and how each of them have impacted you there.
Yeah, my parents, they've done so much for me. They've given in and done everything when I wanted to, like, travel the world for basketball or join a new sport or travel for soccer and then quit soccer and try track, like, they're open and supporting me in everything that I wanna do, so that's meant a lot, but honestly, just, like, raising me that the way that I am, like, I wouldn't be, like, the person that I am, like, just like life wise if it wasn't for my parents, but the sports helps a lot because they support me in everything that I do. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you appreciate about your mom and what kind of characteristics you've picked up from her.
Yeah. So my mom, she's great. She teaches school all day and honestly, she does kindergarten and it's like 20 little kids. So that's a lot in itself. So she has to have a lot of patience for that. And she just honestly, like, is constantly doing things for others, kinda like my grandma, in that she's just constantly doing stuff for us kids, and sometimes I take it for granted, but she really does a lot, like, all the little things, just, like, cooking dinner and, like, making sure I have my stuff ready or my clothes are clean, like, all the little things I take for granted, she does a lot, so I'm really grateful for that.
Moms are important. I mean, they make the ship run, don't they? we'll, and
Yes.
we'll get into some things a little bit later that she might need help from you on, but we'll get into that later on. Let's talk a little bit about your dad. You said that he had coached you from an early age. Tell us about that and how did that dynamic work?
Yeah. Sometimes I would get a little bit annoyed, honestly, because when your dad's the coach, they're harder on you, which is a good thing, honestly, but my dad, I feel like he knows a lot about basketball, and he just, like, helped me in every way, like, we'd extra after practice and shoot hoops, and he'd make me shoot 9 out of 10 free throws, and if I didn't make 9, I would run, and honestly, it's, like, made me better in every way, like, all the things I did as a kid that he made me do has just made me better, but he I looked up to my dad a lot in life. He's great. He does a lot of things. I can't really name them all, but he's great.
Yeah, and probably between him and your brother, you had almost like a built-in assistant coach too, right?
Yeah, yeah. They were always telling me things I could do better.
Yeah. You know, I understand that sometimes it would seem like a parent would be a little bit harder, expecting more out of us. But what would you say are some of the things that you really appreciate about him, and that that have impacted you, and you're going to be able to take that beyond the basketball court?
Um, something my dad always told me is like to just be a leader, not a follower, and just like to always be kind. Like above all else, like I feel like I take a lot of pride in just like being a good teammate, and like that's more important than like scoring the most points or like getting the most stats on the sheet. Like just like he just taught me to always just be a leader and constantly pick up your teammates, and I truly feel like that's like the most important thing, and I can take that into life too. Just like being there for anyone that is in my life and not ever bringing them down, just constantly picking people up.
Well, speaking of other people in your life, there have been a lot of other people that have been very supportive of you. Why don't you give us a shout out, to them as well, and maybe how they've impacted you?
Yeah. I've had a lot of people that have impacted me in my life. I would say like sports wise, like my basketball coach, Coach Wiggins, and my track coach, Coach Pitts, like they've both been so great. Like they push me to my potential and they're constantly like making me get out of my comfort zone and doing things that I didn't even know I could do. And even just like my teachers at school, like the appreciation that they show me, like I don't know, just like the Helias community in general is so great. Like they're just everyone's constantly supporting everyone else. Like it's just like a big family almost. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and there's other people that show a lot of support, and we've got one of them watching, and she's made a comment here real quick. It's Melanie Morton Porter, and she says, "Great family. My husband Doug said he played cards with your dad in college. My husband said he would always beat your dad. LOL."
Oh, that's awesome.
And then Melanie is Tristan and Trichelle's mom. So thank you, Melanie, for that
Yeah,
comment.
that's awesome. I know who that is.
Yeah, very good. Well, you know what? You've just because like your speed and everything that you take on the track, you've flown through this first part of the interview, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get into the second half of it here. Okay?
Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, we appreciate everything that they do for our community, as well as making sure that people that are looking for jobs find the right employer to get connected with, as well as employers finding the right employees to be able to fill those positions. If you know somebody that needs work or somebody that needs to find employees, you get with Paula and her team at CNS Employment Solutions, and they'll make sure to take care of you. Another sponsor that we have for the program is Big Whiskeys, and they sponsor our coach of the issue, like Tara Dicknight from Lighthouse Preparatory Academy. Coaches play an important role in the lives of our student athletes, and I'm sure that Kenadi, just like she just shared, and we'll get a little bit more of that, but coaches make a big impact as far as how student athletes perform, how they're motivated, and just how they're respected, and they just do a lot. They put in a lot of time, and they pour into our student athletes, and we just want to thank our coaches right here in Mid Missouri, as well as thanking Big Whiskeys for sponsoring them. All right, we have been talking to Kenadi Harrison, and we want to go ahead and continue. We'll get started, and make sure you guys, again, keep bringing the comments. We'd be happy to see those, and make sure that you share and like the program. That way other people can get connected and be able to see this interview. Great student athletes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Kenadi back on. All right, you're still there. You didn't leave me. That's good. You're doing a great job, and I appreciate you taking your time tonight. With the magazine, we're only able to get so much on the printed page, and that's one of the reasons why I like this program, because we can dig a little bit deeper, get a little bit more information, and just kind of hear from you maybe some things that we weren't able to get on there. Now, we are ready to get into basketball, and why do you love that sport so much? Tell us about that.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I just feel like from a young age, it was like the first sport that I just really loved. I tried everything. I did dance, gymnastics, soccer, t-ball, and I just feel like I just found like my true love with basketball. It was just so fun and like rewarding, and like getting to play with my friends. Like that just made it so much fun. And then like growing up and like actually getting good and then playing like competitively, like it just kept getting more fun. Like I love like the toughness of it, like the hard work, but like also the reward. Like there's so much I love about basketball. It's hard to like put it into like one phrase, I guess, but there's a lot of things that are great about it.
Well, you know, with that, you shared about a very special moment during your junior season. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that, and beating a team that you weren't really expected to beat? Why don't you tell us about that, as well as some other highlights that you've had throughout your career?
Yeah, so we were the second seed in districts last year against Rolla, the one seed, and we were, I would say, the underdog. We were definitely not supposed to win. They had some pretty key players on their team that we knew were good going in, but it was like a tight game back and forth. And I don't remember how much we ended up winning by, but it was not a ton. And I don't know, it was just so rewarding to like go in as the underdog and just come out with the win and like prove that you're better than like people thought. So that was so rewarding because like I played a key role in that game. I don't think I went out maybe like once for like 30 seconds, but I feel like I played such a key role in like putting the game away at the end and like hitting some big shots. So it was just like such a fun memory for me. And yeah, that was one of my highlights, I think, of my whole career so far.
Yeah. Tell everybody what position you play on in basketball.
I'm the point guard.
Uh-huh. You are the one that is like the floor general. You're
Yeah.
the extension of the coach, and you make things click and go on there, right?
Yeah. I would say I'm a point guard, but I shoot a lot. So I would say you could also say I'm a shooting guard.
Uh-huh.
But
Hey,
yeah, I bring the ball up most of the time.
yeah, that's great. That's great. That's a lot of fun too because you can dictate with the different sets. You can kind of dictate the tempo. Um, the rest of your team they're relying on you. They're looking to you as far as getting them positioned and things like that. Just talk about that dynamic. We've shared a little. You shared a little bit about teammates, but tell a little bit about that dynamic when you guys are out there on the court.
Yeah. I feel like being the point guard, it's easy to just like take over and like I feel like I have such like leadership qualities that I like fit that position so well. Like whether it's just calling out the plays or telling people where they need to be and just like I'm constantly talking while I'm playing or practicing. So like being the point guard position fits that really well. And like my other teammates, they do their job well. Like we don't really have a post this year. We're all kind of like small, I guess, like the same height. So we kind of have to like fill different roles this year and like figure out where we need to be. But I think we're gonna be good. Like it's good to have to like do new things and like play new positions. But I feel like I really take the point guard position very seriously. So yeah.
Well, if you're taking it very seriously, that's going to help lead the other your teammates as far as taking it seriously. So that's an important role you play. Uh, you mentioned about maybe not having that post player, but I want to tell you that that doesn't necessarily always mean that that's what you have to have success. You guys just do the best that you can and putting things together with who's on the court. When I was a junior in
Yeah.
high school, our team won the state championship in Class 5A in Kansas, and our tallest starter was 6'1", and we played against 7-footers. The first team we played, they had a front line of 6'7", 6'6", and 6'4", and we knocked them off. They were undefeated, so it can be done. You guys just
Yeah.
get after it. You tell them, you get them out there and say, "Come on, let's go. We can do this."
That's right. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to be able to do. Again, we talked about coach. Why don't you tell us a little bit about coach and how they played your coaches and how they played an important role in developing who you are.
Yeah. I feel like since my freshman year was kinda just like under their wing and like pushed me to my potential even when I like had a bad practice or had a bad day. Like I think they always have known what I'm capable of, even when I don't. So that's kind of like good. Like it's like a balance. Like when I'm not having a good day, they like keep pushing me or like they get me out of my comfort zone. And like I wouldn't have grown into a better player over the last 3 years if they didn't like make me do things out of my comfort zone. So, but they're just always there for me. Like I could go tell either one of my coaches anything or like just talk to them about life and they would listen. So I feel like I have like good relationships with both, which is awesome to like go out of high school with that I could always like call them for something or for advice or anything. So that's great.
So, as far as your coaches go, is there like a good cop, bad cop role? One of them's really encouraging, and one of them, kind of more disciplined.
Yeah, I Coach Wiggins can be very disciplinary, and our assistant coach, Coach Wyrick, sometimes he's like has to be the good cop, and Coach
Uh,
Wiggins is the bad cop, and sometimes it's vice versa. Like you can tell they try to like balance each other out, so they're not both bad cops, but
right.
sometimes that unfortunately happens.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, you're like you said, you're getting ready to get into the season. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what your goals are for the team and individually?
Yeah. Um, I think it would be awesome. if we could get 20 wins, because I think our 19th win would be Coach Wiggins' 100th win or 500th win, 100th win. No, 100th win. I think one of those, but something like that. But we lost three dominant seniors last
Mhm.
year who put a lot on the stat sheet. But I think it's okay to like do that and to know that we have a new group that is just as capable of putting points on the board and getting rebounds and doing things like that. But yeah, I feel like I think we can win if we just play as a team and like just know what our personal roles are, like what each person individually is good at, and we just stick to that. So yeah, I just hope we stick to that.
And before we move on to track and field, why don't you talk about the fans and the support that they give? What how important has that been for you, being out there representing the Helias Catholic community?
Yeah, the Helias fans are great. They will travel, they'll show up, they'll be loud. The student section kind of depends on the night, but the parents and like there's some Helias fans who have just been Helias fans forever. Like they're Helias fans till they die. And there's some that'll just show up and they'll travel and they'll be loud. Like they're just so supportive. Like they'll never miss a night. And those are the people that you'll remember. Like the community means a lot. Like that's probably one of the things I'll remember most, like when I graduate, is just like the support and like packing the field house for home games. Like that's just it means a lot.
So, what family member do you hear the loudest on in the stands? Who can you hear?
Definitely my dad.
Okay. See, for me, it was my
He's
mom.
loud.
My mom. I mean, man, you could hear her. My sisters
Yeah.
picked that up. They both have very commanding voices. And actually, my daughter, she's picked that up a little bit too. So that's pretty good. It's nice to be able to hear him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit
Yes,
about
I
track.
think it just depends on the person.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about track and field now, and tell us about the success that you've had there. What events do you compete in, and talk about those accomplishments you've achieved.
Yeah, so I mainly do like the sprints and the sprint relay. So I do like the 100, 200, and 400. I've never done anything over the 400. And then I do like 4 by one, 4 by two, 4 by four. So we've been the most successful my 3 years in like those like three relays, mainly the 4 by one and 4 by two. So I think my freshman year we medaled at state in the 4 by one and 4 by two, and then my sophomore year it was 4 by 2, 4 by 4, and then last year I actually medaled in four events, which was crazy. I did the 4 by one, 4 by 2, 4 by 4, and then I happened to medal in the long jump, which is a crazy story. I did my last jump after the 4 by 4 and got on the podium. That was just an experience, but we've had success in a lot of relays over the years. We've had some fast girls, so it's been awesome.
Well, you went ahead and brought it up. Let's go ahead and hear about long jump. Tell us about that and how difficult that was.
Yeah, so I kind of just started doing long jump like my sophomore year as kind of like an extra event to besides running, just to like do something different. And so last year, Coach Pitts had me go into districts doing long jump as my fourth event. So I tried it and I ended up winning districts, which was honestly even a surprise. And then I won the sectional, and then I made it to state, and I was just kind of ready to jump. Wasn't really expecting to win or get on the podium or anything. And the time of long lapped with the time of the 4 by 4, which is one lap. It's an intense race. I like to mentally prepare for that. So I had to do three jumps before the 4 by 4. Went to run the 4 by 4, which is very tiring. And then after we placed in that, I ran back a long jump to do my last jump. And surprisingly, that last jump is what got me on the podium. Like I got seventh. Like it put me up on the podium, which is surprising because I had just ran a lap. You think that my first jumps would have been better, but it was just so rewarding to like get up on there and do that jump after the 4x4. Like I had so many people cheering me on. It was a crazy like dream. I was so overwhelmed, but it was so worth it.
Yeah, that's great. So what are your goals this year, as far as in track and field? What are your goals for the team as well as individually?
Yeah. Um, we lost one of our pretty dominant runners this past year, so we'll have some sophomores probably stepping up this year in the relay. So I feel like we can be good. Like we've got just as fast girls as we've done had the past couple of years. So I bet we'll. I hope we do. I hope to get 4 medals again this year. I don't know if that'll happen, but that's a goal. Like if I did it last year, I feel like it's doable this year. So if we just work hard this year and find some girls, get the handoffs down, I feel like it's capable because running at state is an amazing experience. So that would be awesome to do that again for the
Yeah.
fourth time.
Yeah, I, I mean, I know you've got a good, hard, strong work ethic, and so I'm sure you're going to do everything you can to get there. And you've got coaches that are going to help to try to get you there. Why don't you talk about your coaches in track and field?
Yeah. I don't honestly think that I would have done track my freshman year if it wasn't for Coach Pitts. So he is our PE coach at the elementary school, and he like kind of talked me into trying track. He's like, "You're so fast." So I quit soccer in 7th grade, tried track, went out for it my freshman year, and it was amazing. And he's just always pushed me to my potential. Like when I don't think I could run 2 400s in a meet, he puts me in the open four and the 4x4 and proves to me that I can do it. So he's constantly like pushing me because he knows that I'm capable and that I can do it even when I don't. So he's been a great coach that I've had in my life. I'm grateful for him a lot.
They do make a difference, especially when they are encouraging as well as they challenge you to do the best that you can. They try to pull that up out of you, even when you don't know that it's there. Um, Obviously, running a 4x4 and then going out and medaling in long jump. I mean, I'm sure you had some encouragement to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, Another thing that you work hard at is your education. You've had a 4.0 grade point average, and you've got over 30 college credits. Obviously, that's important to you. How important is it, and how much time do you put in all that?
Yeah, it's hard when you're constantly playing sports and you get home from practice and you don't want to do homework, but it's important to me to get good grades because that just like reflects my like work ethic. So I take school pretty seriously and I put forth my best effort. And I feel like that's reflected. It's nice to get some dual credit classes out of the way because it puts me in a more comfortable spot going into college. So yeah, I take all of that pretty seriously.
Kennedy, what do you appreciate about your teachers and the faculty at Helias? What do you appreciate about them?
Yeah, they're awesome. They're very understanding. Like if I had to leave for sports or something in the afternoon, like if you just communicate with your teachers, they're willing to work with you, and I think that's great. Like they get there early, they stay there late. Like I definitely recognize the work that they put in, and they like a lot of them come to cheer us on at the sports games. Like they're great. The faculty and staff at Helias is great.
Well, I know that Susie Rockers definitely thinks a lot of you, and when we reach out to them to get us the student athletes for the next round of the magazines, and as you know, we do 3 issues at a time since my daughter and son-in-law travel from Colorado to do the photo shoots. So um, she spoke very highly of you, and I think that what the school is looking for, they're looking for student athletes that not only represent on the playing field, they represent in the classroom, and they represent the community. So I think you can be honored that they selected you to be the person that was representing them in this issue. So they don't take it lightly, let's put it that way. What are your goals
Yeah,
and
they don't.
Yeah. What are your goals and plans for the rest of your senior year, and what will you be doing after you graduate?
I for the rest of my senior year, I kind of just want to like finish out strong in both my sports and just like leave a good impact on the younger girls and like my younger teammates, just to like continue to be leaders and like be a good teammate. That's how I want to be remembered, is just like that I was a good teammate and I was there for everyone and I showed leadership. And so yeah, I kind of just want to like finish out senior year with that. And then next year I plan to go to Mizzou. I'm not sure what I'm going to major in yet. I am thinking something in like the health science area. I am also thinking about maybe like speech pathology. I love kids, so I want to like work with kids in some way, but something in like the health science field, I'm thinking.
Well, you'll do great in that. I know you're going to do great in whatever you do, and that's obvious by the hard work that you put into your education and into your athletic career. Okay, so you did really well. We've gone through all of the questions, but now we're going to have just a little bit of fun. We're going to ask you some kind of speed round questions, and these are really simple. But what is your
Okay.
favorite go-to snack after you are done competing? Snack or meal?
Ooh. Meal, if it's like fast food, definitely Chick-fil-A. I like live and breathe Chick-fil-A. I will stand by that. But probably snack, maybe just like goldfish or Cheez Its. I'm definitely
Okay.
like a chips girl.
Okay. My wife is a chips
Yeah.
girl too. She likes chips. She doesn't get them very often, but she likes chips. So, um, favorite ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay, and favorite place that you go to get ice cream?
Definitely Andy's frozen custard.
Okay,
We don't
see,
have one of those in Jeff City, but either the lake or Columbia.
okay. See, I'm trying to help you out here because I'm wanting to remind whoever it is that says that they really love you. They can show their love by getting you the ice cream. They can show your love by getting you Chick-fil-A. That kind of
Right.
stuff. Yeah. But I'm sure this next part is tied into it too. What is the least favorite chore that you do around that you have to do around the house?
Probably loading the dishwasher because I don't like touching the dirty dishes. I would rather unload it and touch the clean dishes. And I don't
Okay.
mind doing laundry, but
Okay.
definitely loading the dishwasher.
All right. Did you have to do that during Thanksgiving?
No, I didn't actually. My grandma did it, so that was great. I
Uh,
probably should have helped her, but I didn't have to do it.
so maybe you need to get Grandma some ice cream.
Yes, probably.
All right. If there's any place in the world that you could go, where would that be and why?
Um, Probably Italy. These are two very different things, but either Italy because of all the amazing things there. I don't even need to describe it, but that would be a dream. Or Turks and Caicos for the beach because the water is so clear there and blue, and that would be like a dream beach to go to.
What has been the favorite place that you've gone or visited so far?
Um, I went to Atlantis when I was really young.
Hmm.
I don't remember it much, but I just remember it was awesome. They had this like crazy water slide and like the beaches were so nice there. That was like a crazy resort that we stayed at, but probably there or just like Mexico, like Cancun.
Hmm. My sisters are both in Cozumel right now. They just both flew out there a couple of days ago, and
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot for not inviting me. Not that I would have been able to go anyway, but I didn't get an invitation, so I
yeah.
don't know what's up with that. I'm the older brother. Come on. One
Yeah.
last question. If you were to say that you most resemble this superhero on the court, which one would that be and why?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. Maybe like Superwoman because that's awesome.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how I would resemble that. Maybe just like being a leader and like taking control. But yeah, probably that. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah, and just pretty much destroying your enemies. Is that what that kind of comes down to?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. Now let's go the flip side of that. Which Disney princess would you say that your family would most say you resemble around the house?
Around the house, maybe like Rapunzel.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like she's like good, but she does a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
my parents make me do a lot. Well, they don't make me do a lot. I just feel like I'm constantly doing a lot when I'm at home, and Rapunzel's like working girl,
Uh-huh.
but she's like fun. Maybe her.
Okay. Very good. Kennedy, you've done a great job. Thank you for coming on tonight. And you've, I just want you to take one more opportunity to give any shout out or thank you to anybody. Go ahead and do that. And then you and I will visit after the program, but I'll close it out after you do that.
Yeah, this was such an honor. This is so cool to get to like be highlighted in this issue. I'll keep the article forever, and I think it's cool to have like my family get to read it, and like my grandparents, and I want to give a shout out to them because they're the reason that I am here and get to do all these things and be
Yeah.
a good athlete and a good student. So yeah, definitely my family and my friends for supporting me, and like all the people at Helias, just everyone who's made an impact on my life.
Well, you've done an outstanding job, and we're looking forward to the rest of this year and what you're going to be doing beyond. So, thank you for being a part of the program, and maybe we'll catch up on another time. Maybe see how you're doing once you get out of high school and getting out there and helping people in the medical field, whatever part you decide to go into.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out, but I'll meet you on here right after we're done. But thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight on One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. We had Kenadi Harrison on the program, and she did an outstanding job, as well as she does an outstanding job in basketball, track and field, in the classroom, and whatever else it is that she's doing. I want to just make sure that family heard that she likes Chick-fil-A. She likes Andy's frozen custard ice cream. I think it was chocolate chip. I think I remember chocolate mint. I think I heard her say. Make sure you guys do that. Let's see, Trisha, thanks for the comment. You said, great job, Kennedy. Proud of you, and sure does make us miss our road trips together. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week on One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.